Hello everybody and welcome to episode 63 of the Wildlife Photography Q&A. As always, I've got alongside me
Gerry, hello. Oh, you caked off. Hello.
So thanks so much for your questions that you guys have sent through. We're going to be trying to answer them as best as we possibly can, and then also maybe just see where the discussion goes from there. Trying to expand as much with the questions as we possibly can. So without wasting too much time, here we go. Question 1 coming up.
Okay, so I think a lot of people dismiss areas when it's not peak season. So for example, we've got our Mora camp and we originally called it peak and off-peak.
Yeah.
But off-peak makes it sound a bit negative, which it's not. It is still insane. I mean, where were we? At Thornybush.
Yeah.
And you did a couple of things on how the green season looks and feels different.
Yeah.
So I think people who are only going for peak are missing out both experience and photographic opportunities.
Yeah, 100%. And I think from one of the downsides from the peak season is you're going to have more people.
Yeah.
And generally the lodges increase their rates as well. So you can be
Yeah.
paying more for driving the same area, staying in the same accommodation as what you were in the off-peak time. And the off-peak time, I mean, like look, certain areas, the off-peak time, the lodges close completely. Like if you take places like Lower Zambezi and the
Monopools,
Monopools, South Luangwa, then you don't want to go in the off-peak season because you'll be stuck there for a few months because you can't drive on the road.
Doesn't sound like the worst plan.
Yeah. But basically, like I'm in East Africa, even like Botswana now. I was in Botswana, and it is considered to be the sort of the off-peak time. But I think that combined with the COVID times now, at 3 of the 4 camps, we were the only people in camp.
That's insane.
One of the camps was just me. I felt so bad. Like I said to the staff, "Listen, just leave me alone. Keep the fire going."
Tell me they did like a bush dinner for you or something.
No. They did one morning set up a breakfast as if there were like 40 people in camp.
Well, you're a special guy.
No, it's way too much. I mean, like I think for me, one of the biggest pros going off season is the lack of tourists and the reduced rates.
I think people also make the mistake that, so let's say for example, I'm going to suck numbers here, but let's say for example, peak season finish or starts on the 1st of June.
Yeah.
It's not like the animals like, okay guys, wait, go. So the animals are there already. So if you look, and you can get some pretty good deals, if you look at when, some people call it the shoulder season.
Yeah.
So where peak season changes to off season, it's literally they choose a date, sometimes the park fees change, but the animals are more than likely still the same. Yeah. I've had great migration action in end of November at our camp, and it's not considered to be peak season. So I think it's definitely worth a look.
Yeah. And I think, if you've travel to a particular destination, wherever it might be, Sabi Sands, Monopools, wherever, try and go there during a different time of the year as well. There's always a charm. In South Africa, the green season, it's amazing from a photographic point of view. The migratory birds have come in. You've got baby impalas cruising around all over the place. So beautiful flowers and things. So it really is a spectacular time to photograph. Don't think, like Gerry says, the animals don't say, okay guys, listen, the off-peak time is done. The peak time is done. We need to go back to where we came from. Definitely try and go off peak time. I don't think you'll be disappointed at all. Okay, next question.
It's not necessary to have a prime lens. It's nice, but it's definitely not necessary. I think some people get lost in the gear and they think a prime lens is going to give them better shots by default. Not the case. So it's nice, but I don't think it's necessary.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think a lot of people feel that they almost feel intimidated by the whole photographic safari thing, and that's something that we're trying to break away from. You don't need to have the biggest and best lens available. If you're using it for specific reasons, then absolutely. It does limit you to a degree. I've actually enjoyed sort of being limited because it makes you think outside the box. Yeah. Otherwise, if you have a zoom lens, you just go back to playing it safe.
Yeah.
It does have benefits, image quality, and like a lot of them much better in low light.
The bouquet you get on them is sick.
Yeah, but it comes at a price as well. So
I think to especially for people coming into the industry or who's playing around with wildlife photography that's not as serious about it yet, it might be worth not doing that, because I've had people bring a prime lens because some photographer said you have to have that to take good images. And then when the lion comes closer and they start freaking out.
Yeah.
Because, like you say, you have to think out the box, but you're not comfortable with your craft yet.
Yeah.
It's actually worth not getting it.
Yeah.
But you decide for yourself. Do you want to get image quality and certain shots and be creative? Or do you want the versatility?
Yeah.
But it's not necessary.
No.
It's nice, not necessary.
Yeah. Next question.
So there are two kinds of hard drives in the world. Broken ones, and those that are going to break. No, so I mean, I've got my routine and my kind of workflow when I travel. I always, when I leave a trip, I have 2 hard drives with all the raw files, just for safety, because one might get stolen or get lost or whatever. When I get home, I have a number of hard drives. I never have only one copy. I've got double copies. There is an argument to make for cloud services. The problem is to upload 50 terabyte is going to take a while, especially if your internet is dodgy. And I can't say it yet, there are some online providers that are now offering raw uploads and you can use it online as a gallery as well. That's coming.
Oh.
But I'm not allowed to give details on that yet, but stay tuned. It is pretty sick. But for now, I use hard drives. I've got 2 copies always, and that's it.
Yeah, totally agree. I also travel with 2 hard drives, and then my main hard drive will then stay at home, so safely locked up. I have been very bad sort of separating my videos and my photos. It's all been sort of on one drive, and I actually need to try and sort it out at some stage. But I think if you're only traveling with one hard drive, then there's a possible argument to be made if you have space on your computer to then have it on there as a second backup.
Sure.
And then, also save it onto your external hard drive. Another idea for you to do is if you're on a Safari and you've downloaded your pictures, to create smart previews in Lightroom, which is almost like another backup. So worst case scenario, if your hard drive then fails, you've still got those mini raw versions, if you can call it that you can still edit and export and still use for social media.
Yeah.
So that's another
We've saved some of Jono's stuff like that. I remember he lost like 70,000 images a couple of years ago, including his Svalbard trip with me. And we used the smart previews to pull it back. So it's a great idea to back it up like that.
Yeah. And you can always, just before you get back, select that folder for the day, create smart previews. By the time you wake up in the morning, it's all done, and it's another source of backup in a way.
Yeah. I think the future is probably going into the cloud, but with current internet speeds, I mean, I can't even download an episode of Friends and mine wants to burst.
Yeah.
So, but I think it is the future.
And I mean, like the hard drives you're getting now, I mean, you're getting such small. I saw Linda had some yesterday.
It's smaller than this.
Yeah, and Sandeep's one also, it looked like a little bottle opener almost.
Yeah.
It's like a 2 terabyte.
Solid state drives.
You can hit someone with it and it'll be fine.
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks for the question. Next one.
I don't know where to start. Maybe I think, and we spoke a little bit about this before, maybe what we'll do in one Q&A in one of the couple of weeks when we're both here is to run through the whole team. We'll film some segments with them, and then we'll ask you guys for questions, and we can kind of put it together like that. Yeah, there's a lot of people. Yeah.
Maybe as a sort of over a few weeks on the Wildlife feed, introduce them all, because there's a lot of time. I mean, a lot of the people know the guides by now. But there's a lot of people that behind the scenes that have been absolute rock stars in the last few months that I think...
Yeah, COVID brought them to the fore and they've crushed it.
We'll introduce you to them pretty soon.
A lot of it is... Start again. 3, 2, 1. I think the allocation of safaris is... One of the biggest challenges is diaries.
Yeah.
Because... Right now, I mean, we're going to meet now, the guides and myself, and I think we're not in the office together again like for months. Yeah. There's always one out. So diaries plays a big role. I think expertise plays a big role. We've all, for example, Johan and I worked in Madikwe. So initially we would take him a lot of the Madikwe trips. Mike, we used to work in Sabi, so he started that. In time, you get more comfortable with an area, but there's no real science to it, I think. Also, what some of the guys do is they might come up with a trip. They might conceptualize a new trip. They do the homework. Johan helps them put it together, and then they host that trip. So either you come up with something that you want to do, and if the market is open to it, that goes out. But otherwise, like the Mara weeks, that's just based on availability. Yeah. So not really a science, eh?
No. I mean, we try and keep it as consistent as we possibly can. For example, that's done a lot of Kenya right from when he started about 4 years ago and started with the Big Gas and Tuskers with you.
Yes.
He's become sort of an expert in that field, in those locations. So from a selling point of view and for our clients going on that trip, they will have Mike's expertise, but also from a marketing point of view, Mike will have those images and videos to make the trip easily marketable. I think for new guides, and for our clients to get to know our new guides, it's kind of a little bit easy to get them into the swing of things by doing the Maras, by doing a lot of the South African-based trips that pretty much sell themselves, instead of like throwing them into the deep end, into a trip that maybe is a little bit more of a logistical challenge.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the thought process behind it. But I think the big thing is for us is consistency, and then over maybe a few years passing it on to maybe one of the newer guides that come into the fold.
That's always been since the beginning. When it was just Andrew and myself guiding, Jono was office based. He was like the secretary. So we would run the trips, and initially it's very difficult to grow because we did like Cape Town with Great White Sharks, Madikwe Sabi, and as you grow bigger, like you said, those trips are selling themselves, so to speak. It has USP. There's value to that, and then new guide come in, give them there, so it's not a difficult sell. And then Johan's one of my most senior guides actually, and those things, then you go to India first, and then the trips you hosted, one of the junior guides fill up. So you kind of work the system up like that, and then you give up trips like as you go. I'm not giving up Svalbard though, just to say. But yeah, that's kind of the system.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, guys, thank you. That's all the questions for this week. Like Gerry said, it's going to be an interesting few weeks. I think I'm very excited. We've been starting to travel a bit again. There's been 3 safaris that ran this month.
Yeah.
2 in Botswana, 1 in Kenya. You going a private on Sunday.
Sunday, Zamanga, back for a day. Sabi Sand, back for then we do content at Shimbalala.
Yeah.
Then here for a week, then content, then here for a week, then hopefully Iceland. And that's as far as I can think right now.
Yeah. It's exciting times. I think, just looking at, being in Botswana, it was very weird to see how, those places that usually pump throughout the year, like I said, for a few of the nights, I was the only person in camp. So there's a bit of sadness to that, but I'm very excited to be getting out and traveling again and trying to not only make a difference to our lives and to the people that travel with us, but also the people that work at these lodges, that they've had an obvious sort of knock, and I think it's had a big effect on everyone, from the villagers to everyone working in the industry.
When are you traveling again?
So with guests on the 17th of June, but we've got quite a few content trips coming up. We're doing Madikwe and some thorny bush stuff. So yeah, there's going to be some bush time. But then from 17th of June till about sometime in November, it's like
it's crazy.
Full out.
It's almost like we're a travel company again.
Yeah.
It's weird. But so for these videos, we're going to try and pump them out as much as we can in between.
Yeah.
But stay tuned to Instagram.
Yeah. Thank you so much. If you guys have any questions, our emails are down at the bottom. Feel free. We're going to try, and you're not here next week, so I might host.
I'm in town on Friday, but I'm not sure I'm going in.
Okay. So I might host it either by myself or I'll pull someone from the office.
I think Krista should host with you one day.
I think so.
Yeah.
Krista's nodding her head.
Done.
Okay. Thank you so much, guys. We'll catch you again next week. My name's Johan.
I'm Gerry.
See you next time.
Bye.
Cheers.